Good evening. Good evening. Just come on in. Give you a few moments to come on in. Checking all my channels as usual. Checking my sound. Checking everything. Making sure we're ready. All right. I see we ready over there. Are we ready over here? Good evening, everyone. Okay. Checking it all out. Making sure that I'm on all my channels. Bear with bear with me. Good evening. I'm always glad to see you come on. Just come on in with me. Just come on in with me. Just come on in with me. All right, I'm on those two channels. Let me turn it up and see if I can hear myself. See if I can hear myself. Uh, Come on in. Come on in. I'd like to give you a few minutes before I start diving in. I like to make sure that you guys can hear me. Okay, I got my sound going there. All right, don't forget to use the chat tonight. And if I don't see you, I try. If I don't respond, you may have to text me. I try to also check my phone and, I always try to check my phone and see if you're coming in. Come on in, everybody. It's Monday night, 8 o'clock. Time for real, for real. Let's get ready. Let's get ready. Amen. Okay, I think I'm up on all the channels now. You have my cell phone if you need it. I try to go back and forth and try to make sure that I'm seeing all the messages tonight. But I'm thankful for you being here with me tonight. Um, Let me get this going. Okay. All right. It looks like everything is working the way it's supposed to. Praise the Lord. This is my motivational night, right? So it's just about encouraging. It's just about encouraging you and you encouraging me also with your comments. I am Minister Anita Kelly tonight, coming with for real podcast tonight. We're going to be talking about something that I know that I'm not in this all by myself. I know that I'm not the only one that start things and have a hard time trying to finish them. I know that I'm not the only one. But let me give you a brief on AK Ministries before I get started. AK Ministries, I like my motto is cultivating gems, letting the you shine through. That means regardless of what we're going through, we still can show up, right? We still can show up. And so it's that inner strength that's within us. And so my vision is to be an inspiration, to encourage others to live purposefully, to allow life's experiences to strengthen your soul and cultivate you into the gem that God intended you to be, shining bright through all circumstances. And my mission is to foster internal healing from life's most challenging experiences. I like to talk about things that people brush over because I like to try to help you get to the root of the matter so that you can really be healed, right? And not just brush it over, but to be healed from the inside out completely, right? So, to strengthen the soul and encourage wholeness through acceptance and forgiveness. AK Ministries empowers individuals to, number one, to recognize the origin of their disappointments and their pain. Number two is to accept ownership of personal triggers. And number three is to accept the complete healing from Jesus Christ. The complete healing. He always trying to heal us, but we sometimes have a problem letting go of some things that he needs us to release unto him so that we can experience that real joy that he wants us to have. And so digging deep within your soul to let the gem inside of you shine through. And that's what AK Ministries is all about, getting to the heart of the matter, getting to the root of what is keeping you from progressing, things that are keeping you from forgiving, things that are keeping you from just being able to pick up and to move forward. So I try to be an inspiration to others, right? And so that's my personality. That's who I am. And so tonight, I was asking God because I know at the beginning of the year, and I had said it publicly that, God had challenged me to finish some things that I had started. And so I, going through this year, trying to go back and finish some things that I started and have left them incomplete. And so there are some things yet I have not even touched that I had intended. And the year's not over yet, but there are some things that I haven't even picked back up. And so tonight is going to be kind of challenging because it's going to make you look at these things. And so I'm talking to God and I'm saying, God, listen, why is it so difficult for me to finish things? I can start so many things. I can have so many ideas. I can have visions, and I can have plans, and I just can start some things, and I have a problem, if I must admit, completing or finishing things. And so I just began to ask God, okay, so now I'm challenged because at the beginning of the year it was you need to finish some of these things that you started. And now I'm going, okay, I still haven't completed some things. Some things I believe I have. And there's some other things that just kind of hanging out here. And so I said, God, why is it just so hard for me to finish things, And so it really can become pretty frustrating sometimes when you out here and you're trying to finish some things, and I can make a lot of excuses. I can say I really don't have the help that I need. And so some things I can probably accomplish if I reorganize some things that I'm doing. So I just want to make sure that I'm not the only one that's having this struggle, like finishing things. Why can't I finish some things? So I have all this stuff. I have all kind of material. I have all kind of applications, and I just started saying, I know that I can't be the only one that's struggling with trying to finish some things. So this is what I want to talk about tonight, and I hope that you all will jump on and help me in this area that I'm talking about tonight. So, but some people will say it's procrastination, but I don't want to touch that or deal with that too much, because sometimes it's really not procrastination. Sometimes it's exciting to start things. You want to let everybody know what you're doing, and then sometimes you get discouraged because people really don't embrace some of the things that you say that you're doing, right? And so that can be a little discouraging when sometimes it's not so much of a pat on the back, but it's sometimes just acknowledging, right? Like I can give you accolades, or I can say, that's a wonderful thing that you're doing, but it just seemed like it just never reciprocated. I don't get a lot of it back. Sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't. So I want to say this. When I said that sometimes there's an excitement in just starting things. And so, but starting something is different from the discipline that's required to finish it. And this is where I believe the topic is going to be tonight. Thank you, Linda Jones, for letting me know that I'm not alone in this. But do you know that sometimes it's not just the excitement of starting it, but it has to do with the discipline that's required to finish it. Now, that's a bad word for a lot of people. You talk about discipline, you talk about commitment, people hang up on you talking about those things because those are touchy situations. No one wants to feel like that they're not disciplined. Well, I'm going to tell you, I have a problem with discipline. I have a problem with keeping keeping going. I can start something off and be real good about it for a minute, and then by the next week or so, I'm way off. Way off the discipline that I had. And so I know that that has a lot to do with me finishing things. And so some people say that it's fear. It's not always fear, you know, um, but sometimes it is because they're wondering, well, if I don't finish it, I mean, what if I finish it and it doesn't work? There we go, overthinking stuff. If you finish it and it doesn't work, then what do we usually say? You do it over, you tweak it, you modify it, you make it right. Okay. If you've taken something from start to finish and you say you completed it and it didn't work, well, guess what? You are a lot further along than some of us that have started things and never got it to complete. So if you're fearful that you might finish it and it don't work, I'm going to challenge you to finish it. And if it does not work, then guess what? There's always a chance for you to go back and modify and to tweak. I used to work at Florida Hospital, and they were always doing renovations, and they add on new wings, and then by the time it's built, they already tearing down walls and doing something else. And so the construction worker one day, he said, "Oh, I can't wait for them to finish with this wing that they're working on, because they already knew that they were going to be coming back redoing something." They'll let them finish it, but by the time they finish it, the hospital have another plan. They got to go in and modify something that has just been done. So it is a process. It is a cycle that in most cases it does continue. It just, some things don't end, but guess what? Each time they modify it, it gets better. It's more usable, right? And so it gets better once you see something, like, say you remodeled or redecorated a bedroom, okay, and the first time you do it with the thought that this would really be nice, but then by the time you finish, you might realize that you don't like the color, or you might realize that the way the furniture is arranged, that is not functional according to how you live. And so you find yourself redoing and redoing until you get it to where it works. Well, that's how it is with these projects and things that we're doing. It does not have to be right the first time, but at least you finish the project, and then you were able to see where you need to make what improvements. And so I encourage you to just keep going. And some of us are our own worst enemy. And what do I mean? Some of us are perfectionists, that it has to be done a certain way and only this way, right? Because you are a perfectionist. And the only way it looks right or ends right is if it's just like you think it's supposed to be. Yeah. So what happens then? If I can't do it the way I envisioned it, then we say I keep tweaking it, or I stop altogether. Which one are you? Are you gonna keep tweaking it, or are you gonna just say forget it, throw in the towel and just stop it altogether? Hey, if you got it almost done, you you have surpassed a whole lot of us. So I'm gonna just tell you to just keep on going. And I'm going to tell you, if you got to tweak it, keep tweaking it till you get it right. At least it's something that you can finish. Just keep tweaking it until you can get it right. Perfectionist, if that's who you are. And then sometimes it's just as simple as this. Sometimes we're just overloaded. Sometimes we just got too much stuff on our slate. Sometimes we're just overloaded. And it's not that you lost the ability to finish it, but you just got too many things that you started. It's just as simple as that. So I call them stragglers. They're just hanging out here. Things that unfinished, they're just kind of hanging out here. They're just kind of hanging out here. And so then you got to come back and you got to kind of go through these things that are hanging out and see what you can finish. Sometimes it's just a matter of a to-do list that's too long. So sometimes you have to ask God, what can I complete on this list? Because at the end of the day, you're going to feel more accomplished if you can complete something. So if you got 12 things on your to-do list and you know that you don't have enough hours to finish it, right? So then you go through and see, what can I complete today? And what is going to be continued, or what do I need to move to tomorrow, or maybe next week or next month? So it's called prioritizing what you have. And then you're going to do the things that are important, or the things that you can complete. So we're talking about trying to trying to make ourselves feel better, right? That we're not just wasting time, that we're living life on purpose and we're doing things that we should be doing. Someone said, keep tweaking until you get it right. Yep, that's right. And then, all right, I'll work on finishing it first and then doing the renovation. Yep, some things, just complete something. And I bet you that you'll feel a whole lot better. So, and then let me see, what's the other thing I want to say? Sometimes something sounded important when it started. Okay, some things when we first started sound like it's so important. And then something changed. Then what changed? Right? So then the question becomes, does everything I start actually need to be finished? That's a question now. That's something you think about. Does everything that you start, is it necessary that it is completed? Is it going to impact something, or is it was just something that was nice to do? We have to ask ourselves these questions, because tonight we're cleaning up the clutter in our minds about these things that that we haven't completed. So I want you to think about that. I want you to think about, does everything on that list really have to be finished? Okay. And if it doesn't, then we're going to take it off the list for right now. That could be to be due later in the future, to pick up later in the future, right? So today we're trying to feel better by the end of this, that we're not trying to accomplish everything on that list, especially if it's not necessary that it get completed. Someone said, I'm working on that, just one task at a time. That's right, because you can easily get distracted. That's right. And so you're going to do the things that are most important first. Some things, there are other things that rely on this one thing being completed. And so these other stragglers are going to be out there until you complete the major part. You complete the major part, and then some of these other little small things can be done pretty quick. So we got to look at it and see if it really does need to be finished, or do I need to just let it go? That's the other part of it. Do I need to do I need to finish it, or is this something that I can just let go? Not because it's not as important as it was when I first started, and it's unfinished. I need the discipline for it. Or if it's unfinished, can I let it go? So if it's something you need to finish, you ask yourself, do I have the discipline to finish this? Or you ask yourself, it's unfinished, can I just let it go? And that's something that, that we have to answer individually. It depends on what the task is, right? Because those are two different things. Two different things. If I need to finish it, then I need the discipline for it. If it does not need to be finished, then perhaps I may need to just let it go. That is the question of the night for each of us. So now let's get down to the grit of it. So for real, I have ideas, I have visions. I can get excited about something pretty quickly, but then I have to ask myself, do I love the excitement of beginning more than I love the discipline of completing? Do I love the excitement of beginning more than I love the discipline of completing? Now that's something that we have to ask ourselves, because if you really don't have the discipline to finish it, then you may need to look at some alternative. Otherwise, it's just going to hang there. And all this unfinished stuff that's hanging there is just going to be a burden, or it's going to cause frustration to you because you don't see how you're going to complete it, right? So we want to feel better. So we're going to take a look at all these things that are unfinished. things that we started and didn't finish. And we're going to say, why? Why? Is it because I don't have the discipline, or too much time has passed? I need to just let it go. I need to do something different. It's not going to work now anyway because too much time has passed, you know. So you have to really think about that, you know. The ideas are good, the vision was there, but you know, the discipline wasn't there. Or maybe you were just overburdened and you just didn't have time to do it. And then if that's the case, then maybe it's really not as important that you finish it now than it has to be. Some things can be future when we get time. So get it off the list of things that need to be done now. Okay. So you're not feeling like you're just not finishing things. You know, we got to see why we're not finishing things. So discipline is, as I said, discipline and commitment, those are some bad words. those, those are some bad words. No one wants to admit that they lack the discipline, they need to finish stuff. No one likes to be told or admit that they're not as committed to certain things as they should be. You know, those are things, you know, they're real tough. They're not things you laugh about. You know, they're things that frustrate you and things that can keep you rolling during the night because you're trying to figure out, why can't I finish this particular project? So what happens now? When I said sometimes you have a thought about starting something and you're so excited, but what happens when that excitement just wears off? What happens? What happens when that excitement just wears off? You know, now we're dealing with consistency. I don't like that word either. You know what I mean? To be consistent means you is all about discipline, doing repetition stuff, whatever it takes to get something done. Sticking to the rules, right? Sticking to the guideline. You know, you can't get off the path. In other words, right? So, but we do, and that's why we're talking about this tonight. You know, but we do. But life happens sometimes. But sometimes it's an excuse that we use too, that life happens. We can say life happens because people accept that, right? Because we all understand what that means. But is that really the truth of the matter? Or is it that you're not as consistent as you know that you should be? I'm going to say that you know that you should be. So I'm going to say this, that when I said that, sometimes when you're starting something, you're so excited. You know why? Because starting deals with emotions. You know, when you're starting something, it's running on emotion, adrenaline. You know, yes, I'm going to do this. I'm so excited. That's emotion. But I had asked, what happens when that excitement wear off, right? In order for you to finish it, that emotion got to wear out. And guess what? Discipline got to step in. It's going to take the discipline to complete it. Because that little happy that you were when you first start talking about this project, or when you first started, it's going to dwindle. When the days pass, when things start going wrong, or you have to start doing redos, you know what I mean? So then what happens is that emotion part wear off. Now you're looking at this table that's half built. You guys know I just run from analogy to analogy. Okay, so you ordered this table and you got to put it together, and it's halfway done in the middle of the floor, but you still can't use it because it's not completed. And so when you first received it, because you ordered it and it came, it was delivered. Oh, you so excited, you cut that box open, you took the parts out, you laid them out, and you start putting it together, and the emotion wore off. That excitement from receiving it and putting everything together. Now you're looking at, you just got a pile of legs and tables, you know, nuts and bolts. And so it's not so much fun anymore. But in order to get that table where you can use it, you got to put forth some what? You got to put forth some discipline. And that means some people call it stick to itness. You got to stick with it until you have completed, put it together, tied down all the screws and nuts, and everything is nice and tight. And then you have someone help you stand it up. Now you have something that you can use. But the excitement wore off as you were going through those parts. And then as you were putting it together, it required discipline to finish putting it together. The excitement came back when you finished it and was able to flip that table over and start using it. Now, now you got something to be proud of. How are we going to get to this place where we have something that we can be proud of because we finished, because we didn't lack the discipline that was needed. Because you could have left it when you say, well, did I need this? Yes, you did. If you didn't have discipline for it, you would have left it, or you would have passed that project on to somebody else. You wouldn't want to finish it. But these are challenges. These are personal challenges that we have for ourselves. You know what I mean? So it's to complete some things. So let's see. I have any. I think I read most of them. Discipline is a bad word. Okay, so we could talk about wanting that same spirit of completion in our life and not merely being someone with ideas or intentions and beginnings, but someone who becomes a finisher. I had this thing where I want to come on the other side of just waiting on things. I want to become a finisher. When the excitement wears off, I want to show that I have the discipline that it takes to finish this thing. So when we look at this spiritually, I can go back to a scripture and give you Philippians 1:6 speaks of uh, God begins a work and he completes it. Because a lot of stuff, we want to call it spiritual. We want to put it on God. But when God does something, when he begins a work in us, according to the word of God, it says that he completes it. And so how does that parallel with these little tasks that we're doing? We have to think about our Father is a finisher. He's not someone that just start things. He's not going to leave you half done, right? So to speak. He gives us some things that we have to do, but his end goal is to complete what he has started in each one of us. And so with all these things that we're doing, we have to think about God. He's the finisher. If you want to be a finisher, you have to really analyze that list of things that you have going. Because I'm telling you, I'm talking about natural stuff. But if you're a spiritual person, it rolls over into your spiritual. There's some things over there that you have not completed. You started Bible studies, you started prayer meetings, you started, and you were excited in the beginning, right? And then all of a sudden, over time, right, we drift off from that. We get busy. If you miss 1 week, it takes discipline to come back and pick it up the following week, right? Or another day during that week. Is what does it take when life may happen and it takes you off your Monday night 8 o'clock schedule. This week I can't do it, right? For whatever reason. 1 week I had, I think, some technical issues, so I said I can't be on the air tonight. It took discipline to make sure I came back the next week, because it would have been easy to come up with some kind of excuse, and then eventually what? It would just fall off and we won't get it done. So you can take that in any area of your life, whether it's work, whether it's your business, you know what I mean? And so something happens and you may have to change your schedule a little bit, but it takes discipline to pull it back, right? And to pick it up from where you left off and to keep going and to become a finisher. How many of you want to become a finisher and not just this person that's excited and emotions rolling through them because you got this great idea about doing something? Great ideas are good, but if you don't finish them, after a while, people are not going to even listen to you. She always say that. She's always excited about something, but it never manifests. It never come to fruition. She never do what she says she's gonna do. Over time, that's what people start saying. And so you can take this in many areas of your life, wherever you feel that you're slacking. And I can almost promise you that it's almost in every area, because if we are undisciplined, that follows us regardless of what we're doing. That was a bad thing to say, wasn't it? But it's so true. If you lacking discipline in any area of your life, check all the other areas of your life and see if you have the discipline you need to push through. You are the common denominator. So it's a work that needs to be done in us if we want to say, I want to become a finisher, right? I don't want to just keep starting stuff. I want to be able to finish some things. So I can just tell you to just try doing, just a few things. Go through that list and see what you can complete and work on that, right? Work on what you can complete. You know what I mean? And then let's work on that, because our Father is a finisher. And then I want to be a finisher. I don't want to stay frustrated because I can't finish anything. But that conversation with God today was like, God, why can't I finish anything? Why can't I finish anything? I said, I got to bring this on the air because I know that I'm not the only one that's struggling with just trying to finish some things. So just remember that God begins to work in us and he completes it. And he expects us to use that same principle throughout the things that we're doing in our life, right? So don't just be that person with ideas. Don't just be that person with good intentions, or that person that have good, exciting beginning, but you never become a finisher, never become a finisher. So maybe we should say, God, show me what I'm actually supposed to finish. Maybe we need to turn back to him and ask him. Some of these things I might have picked up on my own, and God had no intention for me to do that, but it was a nice thing to do, and it sounds like something I should be doing. But now maybe I need to say, God, show me what I'm actually supposed to finish, right? And then I need the discipline so that I can become a finisher, right? That's what I believe. If we take our prayers and turn them that way, I believe that we will be able to get some things done. So let's see. I know we realize that, and I said it before, that maybe there's some things that we're not supposed to finish or don't have to finish, and some things that we need to just let them go. If they just been hanging out here, it's been 5 years or whatever, and you that thing is still hanging out here, maybe that's something that does not necessarily need to be completed. Maybe that's something we need to let go. But I believe if we ask him, what things am I supposed to finish, right? I believe that he will help direct us, but now we got to listen and we have to be obedient, right? So sometimes it's just as simple as just choosing a smaller amount of things and finishing the things that are necessary, the things that need to be completed. You know what I mean? So what did she say? Sometimes we put too much pressure on ourselves to make it big, but when really it's the small steps that matter that would help us get to the next step. Exactly right. And it's a me problem, it's a you problem, right? My husband might say that's a you problem. That means that's something that you have to work on yourself, and you need to just take time with yourself, really go through that list and see what you can complete and other things that maybe you can make some progress in. So we're not feeling like we really don't finish anything, because I don't believe that 100% true. I just think there's some larger projects that, you need to reevaluate, you know, just need to evaluate. Um, so I want you to think of, I always try to challenge you in some things. So I want you to think of one thing, not 8, not 9. I want not 10. I want you to think of one thing that's unfinished. One thing that you wanted to complete but is unfinished. Just that one thing. And then I want you to ask yourself, do I need to finish it? Do I need to schedule it? Do I need to delegate it? Or do I need to release it? Do I need to finish it? Do I need to schedule it? Sometimes you got to, schedule, put it on your schedule and do nothing else but that. If it's important, sometimes that's what you have to do. Block, we call it blocking your schedule. Or do I need to delegate it? Maybe this is not something that you necessarily need to complete, but you can delegate it to someone else to complete it for you or to get it to the next step, right? Or do I need to just release it all together? So I want you to think about that. There's one project, finish it, schedule it, delegate it, or just release it. So if you said finish it, then I want you to say, what is the next small action? And that's what Linda says sometimes, the small things. What is the next small action I can take this week toward that, toward finishing? Is there a small action? Don't have to be something big. Is there something that I can do to say that I have worked on it and I have gotten closer to finishing it? Can you say that? Think about that. So the topic tonight was, maybe I don't need another new beginning, but maybe this season is about finishing what I've already started. And I believe that that's the season that I'm in. I don't need a whole new beginning. I'm not doing a complete do-over. But I'm going to purposely go through and see, do I need to finish it, schedule it, delegate it, or release it? And some of this stuff has got to get to the finish line in one of those 4 areas. It's got to get to the finish line because I want to become a finisher. I want to complete some things. I don't need a whole new beginning. I just need to complete something. I found this little slide. Let me see if I can play it. I haven't tried to. Any comments, you just go ahead and put them on. I want to try to put this little, video up that I found. And I just want to show you this real quick. All right, you guys, let me know if you can see this.
You think you're lacking motivation, but it's actually discipline. And no matter how many times you start a new schedule, you start a new week, you seem to never get through the thing that you said you were going to do. You lack discipline because you never truly had to commit to anything. I'm not talking about a job or a person, but God. How do you expect to have discipline when you lack it with your Father? You say, I pray every morning and I read every night, but God bless my business. You want Him to bless something that requires discipline, but He never seen it come from you. Remember, the level up is up to you. Subscribe to Level Up Ministries.
What you think about that? It's not motivation, but it's discipline. It's not motivation that you're lacking, but it's discipline that we're lacking. I want to be a finisher. Let me see your hands tonight if you want to be a finisher. You're going to take small steps. You're going to work on some things. You're going to take small steps to complete it. You're going to go through and you're going to see if there's some things that you just need to release. If there are some things you need to just delegate, if there are some things that are important that you just need to block your schedule and get them done, by all means, God started a work in us. He said he's going to complete them. That means our Father is a finisher, and he desires for us to also be finishers. If you have too much on your slate, right? Sometimes it's just that way. We just keep adding things. But what you have to do is go through and be honest. If it's something you can put for a later date, for a later year, sometimes I read where God said that sometimes when we make our goals for the year, we make them as though we have to get everything done in that year. Telling you to stretch some things out. Some things are 5-year goals, not 1-year goals. You know what I mean? So it's like make realistic goals. So that way, because if you're anything, we're similar, we're human, and things that are unfinished makes you frustrated because all you see is that all this stuff you can't finish. But let's be real. Everything does not have to be completed right now. We can delegate. Some people don't like to ask nobody to help them. And so we think we got to do it all ourselves because nobody can do it like us. Well, you know what? You're going to stay in that box that you're in because you won't allow someone else that may be skilled and that may even have more time than you have. People can help us. We can let them help us. Just thought I'd put that out there. Because there's a project does not mean that it's a solo project. You don't have to do everything by yourself. So I hope I was able to help you tonight. I didn't want to keep you too long. Linda says, I want to be a finisher. God knows I want to be a finisher, but I've got to go through, because I asked God, why can't I finish anything? Why do I have all these projects out here? And so I believe the answer was said tonight. What I've got to do is go through that list because I want to be a finisher. I want to feel better about the things I started. I don't want to just be excited because I started something or had this wonderful idea. I want to see it manifest, right? I want to see that table being put together. And guess what? I didn't have to put the table together by myself. Get it? You can ask somebody to help you put that table together when it come in and you got all these pieces and parts. And you just might get it done a little sooner, right? And sometimes it's fun to have someone to bounce ideas off of instead of internalizing them all by yourself. So I declare tonight, and I hope that you're with me, that I am a finisher. And I want you to declare that, make that declaration that I am a finisher. I'm going to finish some of these things that I started. I'm going to delegate some, I'm going to release some, and I'm going to block my schedule for some. And I hope that you right there with me. I thank you tonight, Minister Nita Kelly, for refreshing for the soul. This is my For Real podcast. And I'm declaring if you hear this message, it's because you want to be a finisher. And we're going to take that bad word of discipline and we're going to put it to work for our good, right? Yeah. God bless you. Have a wonderful evening. And I'll see you next week for another topic. If there's something you want me to talk about, make sure you let me know. If you want to come on and talk with me, let me know that too. It's all good. So God bless you. Yes, it is hard to ask for help. But you know what? Help is there for us. Help is there for us. And so we need to be able to tap into that when we can. There are some things that, is going to require you up to a certain point. And then when you get to another point, you want to drive to 200 miles someplace and you ride by yourself, or you're going to be stopping, right? But if someone go with you who can also drive, guess what? You can share that responsibility. You know what I mean? And that's a simple analogy, but take that and apply it into the things that you're trying to complete in your life and let someone help you. Sometimes, believe it or not, you can learn from other people. They may not do it just like you, but you might learn a technique that can help you do it smarter the next time. So guess what? We all here for one another. You know, we all here for one another. So a potato salad is the same whether you keep the skin on the potatoes or not. When you mix up all the ingredients, you still got potato salad. So it depends on who made it and where they come from and how they were taught to do it. It might look a little different. It might even taste a little different, but it's still potato salad. So someone else can make it sometimes. You know what I'm saying? That may not make sense to you, but I think you got it. Meaning delegate. That's how we delegate. Let somebody else do it, and it don't have to be exactly the way that you do it, but the finished product is still the finished product. Got that? You got that. All right, we're all finishers tonight. We're all finishers, and we're gonna learn how to delegate. And so we're gonna be disciplined. Oh my God, I'm gonna come back and check and see how you guys doing with that discipline. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Well, anyway, Minister Lena Kelly, God bless you. Thank you for tuning in with me tonight, and you have yourself a blessed week. And God willing, I'll see you again on next Monday night at 8 o'clock for what? For real, my podcast. Good night, everyone.